Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary, quite incredible, quite unlike anything you may have experienced in your life.
Welcome everybody to the Takeover Show. I'm your host Misa, and with me as always, he is a torta pounder. Not just any torta pounder, he's a certified torta pounder.
Nah, we're international.
He's also owner of Duchi's and Next Gen Sports. Please give it up for the torta-nator, my boy Chewy.
Hey, what up, gang?
My boy Chewy. That's true right here, guys. That's true right here. Anyways, guys, we have a good fucking episode today, Chewy. Episode number 82 today. We have a good one, bro. We have a good one that I can't wait to get into. But before we do, really quick shout out to our sponsors. Starting here at Genuine Reference Studios, guys. Anything music, anything sound, anything podcast, please hit up Genuine Reference Studios. Their number is going to be here at the bottom below. That's going to be 915-300-0000. No, just kidding. It's 915. 3000555. It'll be right there. I don't even know why I'm
so many numbers, bro.
Yeah, 915-222, sexy for you.
Fucking Jay. I'm gonna have to edit that shit out. But anyways, also, last but not least, shout out to our boys over at Dulce Cannabis.
Hey.
Dulce gummies, and guys, these guys just came out with a 100 milligram gummy.
A little rosin bar, so be on the lookout for that.
Make sure you guys consume responsibly, and it is
Abuelita approved.
Yes, so
tap in,
guys, tap in. Anyways, Tree, let's get down to this fucking episode, dog. I'm excited. Let me get a little bit taller here, dog. There we go.
There you go.
There we go, dog.
There you go.
There we go. Well, you heard his voice, man.
You see the stripes.
This man here was a dude that pretty much got me into podcast. We'll get more into that detail, but no furthermore, please give it up for our boy Chris Marquez.
What's good?
Get rolling, Chris.
What's good, Papa?
What up, pal?
Good to see you guys. Chewy.
It's been a minute.
Misa.
How are you, dude?
Good, bro. How are you guys? Let's crack this celebratory beer before we do anything.
Dude, let's go ahead and do that.
So if you know the boys, they have their two delicious fucking, right? So I don't have one.
Cheers,
Can you
guys.
pass me one?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
First of all, look, I don't know what to decide on.
By the way, guys, best ice chest in the world.
Oh yeah, big fact.
Where did you get that?
My grandma gave it to me, actually.
Your grandma knows what's up, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out to your grandma.
She's the one that taught me how to drink.
Did she?
No, just kidding. That came from my dad. Yeah, it's a family thing.
Yeah, shout out to your dad too, man.
I'm full.
Fucking some good times, bro. Some good times. Let's get down to the very beginning, bro. Me and you met back in middle school.
Yeah,
right.
bro.
We were fucking
young.
12, 13 years old. But we were just acquaintances, dog. We weren't all that close. We played basketball a lot. Right. I remember in the mornings, maybe lunchtime and shit.
Yeah.
And then after that, high school came. You went to fucking Coronado, right?
Yeah, CHS. Class of 09. Hey, but honestly, like I understand, we went to rival schools, right? But I mean, we're still West Side, you know? That's still like the common factor, you know?
East Side versus West Side.
Man, that's one good way to fucking come back from his boo, you know?
Yeah,
a lot of people
unity.
He marinated that one back. He marinated and cooked it.
Yeah, so eventually, years went by. I probably saw you once or twice at some random party or something.
Yeah, of course.
You know? And then years went by, dude. And then we have a mutual friend, we call him Krusty Joe.
Krusty Joe.
And, you started a podcast. What year was this when you started your pod?
I want to say 2019.
2019,
yeah,
right? Middle or the beginning of 2019?
Like the end, because it was right before COVID, and then COVID was 2020. But it was I would say late 2019. Just on a whim too, you know what I mean? Not really thinking about it too much.
Well, what made you fucking want to start this shit? Because, I mean, at that time, not a lot of people, there was pods out there, but, compared to how there's...
Yeah.
What made you want to do that?
Well, podcasts, they were like already kind of like a thing. Like if you remember, like if you had an iPhone, which normal people have iPhones, Chewy, by the way. Yeah, bro. Anyways, we're not. That was just a dig at Chewy.
No, I got. But yeah.
But yeah, real fast. So like, but remember, like, if you got an iPhone, right, or even like an old Apple Touch, you had the podcast app was on there, right? And like, people didn't really know, like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what kind of app is this? Because it had no music on it. It was literally just for podcasts. But a lot of sports shows that I was into, like the Dan Le Batard show, Ryan Russillo show, all these just like sports guys that had shows on ESPN and different networks. They would release the show of the day as a podcast. And so that's how I started getting into it. And obviously like Joe Rogan was coming out too. So I started listening to those guys and like just getting inspiration from them. And then also like me and my cousin Nick, shout out to Nick.
Hey, shout out Nick, dude.
Yeah, shout out Nick.
Shout out Nick.
Me and him had always talked about fucking doing a pod, and then he fucking moved to San Antonio, so that fucking went out the window.
Right? He's like, hey, dude, I know what we can do, but you know what? I'm out.
Yeah, let's start a pod, but you know what? I'm gonna move fucking 9 hours away.
Like those early days, with Pat McAfee had one.
Yeah,
Paul had
yeah.
one
Like podcasts have been around for a long time. It's just like the popularity of it wasn't what it is today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all you heard was really like those popular podcasts from like famous podcasts, you know. But during that time, I mean, I remember maybe 2 other podcasts that were around. I know the Brum and Roll was already around at that time. And then there was that baseball. The Middle's Open, dude.
Shout out my cousin Patrick.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them.
And all his boys.
What was it called?
The Middle's
Open. It was
the Middle is Open?
Well, I mean, like, it was like
a baseball theme, right? It's a baseball term.
Yeah, it's a baseball term, but like they would do just like a pod based, like just like kind of how we would do it, like just interviewing people or just, you know, kind of shooting the shit. Like a lot of podcasts, like at the beginning, what you have to figure out is like, what's your direction? Like, what is your podcast going to be about? Because one of the things is like, you can't start a podcast and it just be you and the boys talking about inside jokes and stories that only you guys know about, right? Because if you're on the outside looking in, like you don't know the people that they're referencing. You weren't there that one time that talking about some story they're talking about. Yeah. So
people are not gonna
they don't know who the hell that is. Who your cousin is, you know?
Right. So at some point, like you lose their attention, right? Because they get drawn out of the conversation because their talking points or whatever you're talking about, they can't really necessarily, not that they can't relate to it, but they don't have a like stake in the game, right? You know what I mean? So that's why it was always important. Like if we're going to do a podcast, like we're going to have some sort of framework of like the direction of the pod, but also we're not going to get into the minutia of like little inside stories between us unless it's relevant, or like relative to whatever it is we're talking about. You know?
Yeah, man. A lot of people, I mean, if they want to make something like a good podcast that people get interested in, they have to really think about what the hell they're going to talk about, right? I mean, they have to make it to where some people could relate to it or at least understand it and know what the hell you're talking about.
Right. And then like real fast, like another thing too that was really big with podcasting was like the crime, like murder podcasts, like, but if you think about those, they're telling a story, right? So it's easy to get into it because it's like watching a show, right? You're listening though, it's like an audiobook, but they're literally going over like a crime or something that happened. So then you have your intro, you have like the way they set it up, the body of the story, the conclusion. So there's the framework already set, right? So like any good show, right, should have kind of that same, like, not to say that it's scripted, right? Because our pod was never ever scripted. Right. But we had some sort of general outline of what we knew what we wanted
to talk about, right? And if we got to that point, we'll be able to get it. But what I liked about it too is that we would always jump into like some rabbit hole or something, right? But
like right here, right now,
able to bring it back,
right? Yeah. So like I remember, like we did that interview with Rob D, that very first interview, remember?
Yeah.
And we started talking about like how the podcast started. And you had said like, oh, it was just Chris talking about his fucking day at the beginning, right? And so that was kind of like getting my feet wet and trying to figure out like, okay, what lane do I want to occupy? Because like, obviously my main thing was like sports, but there's so many of those podcasts out there. And then honestly, like people don't really, like they don't think you're credible because you didn't play, you're not a coach, you know what I mean? Yeah, so like, it's hard to like focus on that. So that's where the idea was like, let me just start interviewing my friends, like Joe Rogan style, like have a sit down conversation, but like kind of get into like what that person does or why our relationship is special, things like that, you know? So that's like how the framework started.
Yeah, you started in for the first 12 episodes. It was pretty much like friends, family, right?
Yeah.
That you would do it, and you started off right off your phone, dude. You had your headphones connected. That was your mic.
Yeah, the old Apple headphones.
The
The
old
ones
Apple
that they
headphones.
used to come with your phone when you would buy an iPhone. They
right.
would give you a pair of headphones, and then at one point they introduced that mic. So the wiring had a mic that would sit right here, and then that was your audio input, and then you just recorded onto whatever software that you wanted. Anchor at the time was what I was using.
Yeah, I remember when Joe's episode came out, episode 12. I saw it on Facebook, and the first thing I did is I went to listen to it, but then I went to see what other episodes you got. I was like, hey, I wonder who else he interviewed. And I ran into, I think it was like episode 2 or 1, dude.
Yeah.
And I think that was the funniest because you were fucking
I was
blasted,
hammered, yeah.
dude. You were fucking
trashed?
hammered. Trash, man. That was so funny, dude. You guys ordered pizza and shit too, I believe.
Well, okay, so what had happened was like, so Anchor had this like feature where like you could share them a link, and it was essentially just like you were hosting a call with somebody.
Yeah.
Right. So like a Zoom, but just audio.
Or random or what?
No.
Oh,
like,
with the people.
yeah, like so, like
Okay,
if
okay,
I
okay.
wanted to do a pod with you, I would send you the link, and then you would join in the call, and then it would record us, right? So I did that with Nick one day, and he was in San Antonio. He was an hour ahead. I think he was late.
That's kind of cool.
Like he was late to the recording, so like I had been drinking like 3 hours more than I should have, and so we still did the podcast because I was like, all right, well, we're gonna do it. And then the pizza thing was that he ordered a pizza, and the pizza showed up like to get delivered while we were recording, and you could hear the ringing of the doorbell and the pizza guy like showing up, you know. But yeah, I was hammered, and like you could hear me like slurring my words. And
It was funny, man. But I mean,
Just
you as I heard, you could hear how it grew. And then eventually what I decided to do is like I send you a message on Facebook, and I put like something like, hey, if you want somebody funny or funnier, hit me up, you know. And I remember you're like, yeah, and a couple of days later I was already at your house. We planned it in
the garage.
And I remember, dude, this is the first time I've seen you since middle school that I remember. And then I show up.
Oh no, we had seen each other. Remember at the mall?
Yeah.
We were working security. I was at
so.
Forever 21. But like we didn't.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
But we didn't like talk. We just like
it's just what's up and
just
shit.
like, yo, what's good, dude? How are you? Whatever, you know. But not like an actual sit down. You know?
Yeah.
That was like your first what's up after high school or what?
Yeah, I mean, just like in passing, you know.
Yeah. You know why? It was memorable for me. Well, obviously, first time I was ever on a pod that I did a pod, but also that was the first day. This is when COVID was going around, and it hadn't even hit here in America yet.
Right.
And I remember that we were talking about that day. We found out that they shut down the first city, which was Wuhan.
Right.
And we were fucking tripping out at the photos and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Who was to know what the hell else was coming, bro?
Right.
You know what I mean? But so that happened. That was episode 13. That did really well. And I remember you gave me a call a couple of days ago, and you're like, "Hey, man, let's do this together." And that's how Conversing with Chris and Misa started.
Yeah, because remember after that we ran another episode
Together with
JP
and
Joe, and then Joe was dating my cousin at the time, and she pulled up and everything, and so yeah, that's how it started. But I guess the genesis really was just like talking to like my friends, because it was like a way to become better at like being a host and asking good questions and having conversations that people would want to listen to, right?
Yeah, and keeping that conversation
going. And keeping it going and knowing when to pivot from here to there and knowing how to get, like, we're going to eventually talk about this subject, but how do we start an episode and get there at the same time capturing people's attention and having them maintain their attention throughout the whole conversation? Because we would do like pretty kind of long episodes. Like the podcasts were never like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you know?
No, man. I mean, I like even now I feel like that's fucking hard to have a 20 fucking minute like podcast. I don't feel like, unless it's like something like trend that we're talking about, trending topics.
Right.
But if I'm interviewing somebody, there's no way that I could do a quick 20 minute and for me to feel that it was like
ready to go, you know?
Well, I mean, how do you get to know somebody in 20 minutes? You know what I mean? Even like if you talk to somebody for an hour, you don't really know them.
No,
right?
I don't know.
You're just
on that subject that you spoke on, you know?
Yeah, you're just talking about like what's at hand right there. You know what I mean? You're not actually delving into like, you know,
You still get to disagree and agree,
right,
you know?
personal details, things like that. But at the same time, like I said, it was more of like it's almost like just getting your reps in, you know, like if you're a basketball player, football player, whatever you do in life, right? You need practice,
You gotta shoot in the gym.
reps, you need to be in the gym and like those episodes, those early episodes were all just reps, just trying to get better, and then trying to see like, can I actually do this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and not only that, or like, are people actually going to listen? You know?
Yeah, you know what I like about the beginning, bro, and now thinking, you know, even fast forward.
First of all, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
What the fuck was I saying, dude?
We were talking about just like, you know, seeing if people would actually listen.
Yeah. Now we did this for those, you know, that are watching and listening, man. We did this for 3 years, bro. We did this for 3 years, 177 episodes.
Yeah, bro.
That equals to about 59 episodes a year. We got 52 weeks in a year. So it was weekly, and we got to a point where we're doing 2 a week.
Right.
You know, we're recording 2 a week. But, you know, I'll put up some pictures here, and I'll show you, you know, right now in our break. But these pictures that you guys are looking at, these are like literally the beginning. These are like maybe second, third episode of us doing it together. And at one point, shit got cold outside in your garage. It was either fucking hot as fuck or it was super cold. So the picture that I'm putting up right now, that's us in your room. Remember that time we put a little table. We used something to have a green screen, no, or something, and
we just put like a sheet up. Like, because we were shooting off a Mac, a stationary iMac, right? And the backdrop was literally like my bed in my bedroom, and like obviously like. I mean, it just doesn't look good. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do we eliminate that? But then, yeah, we put up a green screen and then it like fell like halfway through or whatever.
Yeah, man. You know, and
trial and error, bro. Trial and error.
Looking at that picture, bro, it's cool just because of like the early struggles, right? Like the early beginnings. When you know I first started coming around, you only had a table, a beer pong table. Right. You had your PC, and then you had one
centered mic.
One center mic.
Omnidirectional mic.
Yeah.
So like the purpose of the omnidirectional is that no matter who was there, right? Like that mic is stationary in the middle, and then it would pick up the sound equally from the radius that it would encompass. But like everyone had to be kind of speaking at the same level. You couldn't be like speaking under your breath, you know? But I mean, that was like, I mean, if you think about it, I didn't have any frame of reference. Like, how do I start this? Like, how do we make sure the audio is good? How do we make sure that people can hear what we're saying? So it was just kind of like a shot in the dark, but like, that's kind of how you learn, is just like, you got to just try to do it. And then you're going to.
And just to put to reference, man, Chris here, now that he's explaining all that, you know, at that moment he was trying to learn, but even then when I came in, I didn't know even that, like hardly any, like nothing compared to what you did, you know, like you said you didn't know, you know, it's just imagine, you know, how I was, you know,
straight YouTube university.
Yeah, but eventually, you know, we got into the role, you know. I remember we had a meeting and it was 2020 already. I think it was somewhere in January. And we were pushing like, hey man, we got to try and see if we could aim big for bigger guests, you know. Like I was very excited about trying to grow it. And then you're like who, man? I was like, I don't know, like, you know, and we wrote on the board like Johnny Cage,
whiteboard.
Yeah, and you know Buzz Adams and stuff, you know. And I was
what you call it? Shoot your shot.
Yeah, and Chris is like, hey, you know what? All we gotta do is just send a message, man. And if they say no, we gotta do is shoot your shot. And we're like, yeah, shoot your shot 2020.
Yeah.
And that was our thing that year, and we fucking blew up a little bit that year, man.
And then like one thing real fast that I just wanted to touch on, because like you were saying like how you had absolutely zero experience, right? The only other prior experience I had doing anything creative was, shout out to my boy Sam, SGT. Ooh. Me and him, we had done rapping.
That's right.
Yeah, dude. And like, I know everyone, like, they laugh at me for it and like they give me shit or whatever, but I mean, we made songs and like we wrote the songs, we recorded them ourselves. And that was like my first intro into capturing audio, finalizing it, bouncing it out of a software,
actually creating something
from nothing, bro. And like, those were the nights that me and Sam in the same garage would sit in there, writing songs together and writing rhymes and recording them ourselves and doing 7-8 takes for one verse, because, you know, we're not professionals at any point, right? But it was just like that experience of like, okay, like I know that I can put something together if I put my mind to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you guys might not like the rap songs we did, but like that shit meant something to me, and it meant something to him, because like we actually, and we were dedicated to it. You know what I mean? Because I remember when we first started rapping, there was like 7 of us that would try to rap, right? And then
how old were you?
That was like right after high school, like
18, 19, 20 years old.
Probably like 2010, 2011. And then after that, after like a month, like it was just me and Sam left. Like everybody else kind of was like, well, I'm not gonna fucking rap
they don't
anymore.
stay consistent. Yeah.
Or they would rap and they would just like take forever to record, and we're like, bro, we're not gonna do 100 takes for you to get an 8-bar verse. Like get it together, you know? Like so. But I mean, no, because like
that's how you start, man.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of those kids here, interns here at GRS, man.
Right, and then you weed people out in a way, like you know what I mean, like who's not really down to sit in the studio for 5 hours to make a song that's a 3-minute song. You know what I mean? But at the same time,
have you got back to that? Do you still have any of your old shit?
I have all like the recordings still on my iPod. Like an old iPod, but
we're gonna put it on Instagram
and even on my
sound
even on my Facebook for Flight, that was our group. There's still videos on there that like some of the music still lives out there. But also like me and Sam had tried once. We were originally called Fat People. That was the collective. That was the collective. Fat, PH Fat.
Okay.
And then that was like our collective. Like I said, there was like 5 of us. And then eventually it just ended up being me and Sam. So we decided to just be a duo, named ourselves Flight. And then we recorded like probably 2 mixtapes, like a good amount. We recorded probably like 40 songs, bro. Like,
damn.
Yeah, it wasn't like that's the thing is everyone thinks like that we weren't serious about it, but like I task anybody with trying to record 40 songs.
Shit, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Write them, like write the hooks, write the verse, record all that shit. Mix and master it, put it out, put it on DatPiff, like at the time, you know, like Reverb Nation was another thing that we used, and that was like the intro to like just knowing like if I want to do something creative, that I can do it if I put my mind to it, you know.
Yeah, and it showed, man, and it showed because the one thing I liked when we started doing this pod together is that I felt like you're very serious about it to where like it wasn't. I mean, it was a hobby, but it was something that could be bigger than what we both thought. Right? We knew that it could grow, and so as time went by, I remember this one time that I kept kind of telling you like, bro, we need to invite this guy, and you would be a little hesitant, you know, and then. I told you, what about this dude? I known him for a while, and he's like, all right, let's see if he's down. And we're still in your garage at this time. And I sent him a message, and he asked, like, oh, well, where is this going to be at? And I was like, oh, it's going to be my buddy's garage. And then he's all like, bro, I wear a suit. I'm not going to go and sit there in a garage all day and shit for a thing. And that hit me, and I was like, fuck, you know. And I remember I brought it up to you. And you're like, well, yeah, bro, this is why. What do you think? We're going to have Johnny Cage come to the fucking garage, you know? So the next step after that, bro, you ended up finding a duplex with well, you actually picked that place because it had an extra room that we would be able to use as a studio. You were that invested and that serious on there, man. And so that's what happened. We moved in there. We put what is it, like 2 desks that it was? Remember?
I think 3 desks.
3 desks
at first to create the first like not a round table, but just like a first surface, right? But it's and like you said, like we had to take it seriously because like if I'm gonna put my name on something, right? Like I don't like to do things half-ass in a way, and so one of the biggest things was like it's kind of like a catch-22 in a way, like where if I do this, if I go rent this place with a dedicated room for a studio, then I have no excuse to not record the podcast.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like now you're in it.
Right.
Now at Huevo you have to.
And then it was the same thing like when we bought the first Rodecaster. Remember we went half on it? And those shits aren't cheap, dude. We dropped like, what, 500 bills each?
Yeah.
And we got some good mics and everything. But that's kind of like the litmus test is like, if I want to do this, then I need to put my chips on the table and say, I'm all in here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can't expect somebody else to do it for me, right? And so that was like the big, like I guess the big commitment was saying, all right, we're gonna go sign a lease at this place for a year, have that extra room, and if we want to do this, we don't have an excuse of not having a place or having a place that's inadequate, like a garage, right? Or my bedroom, right? Now we can actually take that room, furnish it how we want, decorate it how we want, set it up how we want. And like the biggest thing we talked about too right now was that we didn't have to break it down and set it up every time. It was like we set it up once. Obviously we would mess with some things, but like that was the dedicated place to like, if we wanted to do a podcast, we could have that shit ready in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was, man, I loved it, you know.
You
but
just walk in.
Yeah, you walk in and
do the lights, I remember.
Yeah, and at this time, you know, I mean,
Your first one, right?
That was the first studio.
Yeah, the first studio that we did, and it was good. I mean, and it evolved. I mean, we eventually started having some big names come through, bro.
Yeah.
You know, from Estela Casas to
well, I would say like the very first like big name that I felt like was kind of cool was DJ Bonds.
Yeah, he was our first guest that was not like that we didn't know.
Right. And then he was even like, when he got there, like it was like a pretty, the setup was not very good at all. But,
we had a projector too.
Right.
As like a screen.
Right. But then even he was like, yo, like this is pretty cool. Like I fuck with what you guys are doing. And like, it's always nice to like, I've always said this is like, the people around you, right? Your friends, your mom, your dad, they'll always give you positive words of encouragement, right? Because that's their job, right? They want the best for you, right? They're not ever going to say like, no, you can't do this or you shouldn't do this. But then when you get an outside perspective from somebody who doesn't really know you and has no reason to give you any positive affirmation, and they tell you like, hey dude, like I kind of fuck with this, like that really, it feels good. And then it makes you want to work harder. And like you know, if this guy realized it, then like other people are seeing it too, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's kind of somebody seeing that you're fucking putting in work.
Right.
To be recognized for shit that you're doing is always really good, man. And I love it when people also come in or they see what we do and they say, dude, this is badass.
Yeah, dude,
that's cool.
Like the studio is sick as fuck. Like when I walked in here, I kind of already had seen a little bit of like what you guys are doing, so I kind of had like an idea of it. But then you come in here and then you see all the equipment and you see like this is a proper studio. Like music gets made here, like art gets made here. Like it really feels like you're stepping into like another level, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and speaking of levels, dude, we went through a few levels there at that place. Real quick, Eric, where are we at right now?
Shout out Eric. Shout out.
27. Okay. So what we're gonna do, man? We have a lot to talk about, Chris. If you don't have anything else to do, we'll keep talking about this. What I do want to do is I want to make sure none of these cameras die.
Cool. Right. I do want to bring up how I noticed you guys on the internet.
Right. So
I asked Joe how to get involved. Because I didn't see. This is cool to hear because I didn't really know about the garage days.
See what I mean? Hold on. Hold on, Chewy. When we come back, guys, we'll talk about everything that Chewy is saying, how we met Chewy. We want to talk about some memorable times at CWCM. And then also eventually we want to talk about how it ended, what Chris has scheduled for the future, and we do have some topics to bring up. But guys, make sure you guys are following, subscribing, and liking. Chris, do you want people to go and check out? Because I know you did a couple of episodes after the fact. Do you want to plug in your stuff or anything?
No. I mean, I'm not very active with anything anymore. So I mean, this is the first pod I've done probably like in close to like a year. So.
And with that being said, guys, make sure you guys are following us, liking and subscribing, and we'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the second half of episode number 82. Episode number 82, man. Here with our boy Chris Marquez. He's been kissing that shirt, man. Have you washed it, bro? I don't think he's washed it since he's bought it from you, Chewy.
I've honestly haven't taken it off.
Bro, I respect this World Cup,
dude. And honestly, just because before, I was super big, right? And so I couldn't fit into soccer jerseys, you know what I mean? So I never really had one that I could actually wear and rock.
And now you're not taking them off.
And now, dude, and then obviously with the World Cup, right here, right now, dude, it's and I love soccer, dude. So I've been all about it.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, real quick, Chris, thanks so much, bro, for coming through, man.
No problem. Thank you guys for inviting me.
It's good to fucking have you here. You mentioned, man, before you couldn't get jerseys or big enough jerseys, bro. You look very well, bro. You look good, man. You lost some weight, man. You went
bro.
through a change. You know, you told me that you started eating better. You stopped drinking as much as you did, and you started playing basketball, bro.
Right.
That's something that I was like, fuck, man. You hit the court, dude. We got to get back to that. Right. But how? I mean, 70 pounds, 50 pounds, dude. Like that's a lot, bro.
You're like 75 pounds.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I always get that, like, are you on the shot?
I asked him the first thing. I respectfully was, hey, fool, you on that shit?
Hell no.
This fool fucking goes, nah, hell no.
Yeah, man.
Not only like, I mean, obviously it's better to do things like more naturally, more healthy, but like I'm afraid of needles, bro, so I couldn't stick myself.
That's true.
This guy, to save his life,
I wouldn't, dude. Like if I was like about to die and they're like, bro, you have to inject this morpine in you, like I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Dude, I'll see you guys. I'll see you on the other side.
I'll see you guys in hell. I'll have the table ready. I'll have a bucket of Bud Light right there for you. You know what I mean?
For me.
Yeah. But real fast, thank you guys for having me. Shout out the producer in the back switching this camera.
Shout out Eric.
You're the MVP, bro. You're doing all the work right now.
Yeah, you know what? We'll put Eric's information because Eric here is a very good photographer, man. Super good photographer. You guys need any photography? We'll put his info here down below.
Shout out.
He is an intern. How long have you been coming through already, bro? Here at GRS.
Like a month.
About a month now. So he's a new intern, but he's here all meetings. He's been helping us out lately. But thank you, bro. Thank you for today, man.
Yeah. And honestly, you should mic him up, bro. Producers should always have the ability to talk.
Dude. I was planning to, but, I was all like, I don't know, man. Eric, dude, I don't know if I want him like that.
No, we were having some good conversations right now off mic.
Chris, you have good conversations with everybody, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
we can't just mic up everybody, dog.
No, I know, but it's cool. Like,
you know what? I should have mic'd up him instead of Chewy, dude. Chewy doesn't say shit.
And honestly, like, I just feel like I like the
I'm letting you talk.
Well, I like the idea of the voice that's not on camera, like it's like the theater of the mind, like who's that guy, but he's actually playing the most pivotal part, like in this whole production.
Yeah, dude, yeah, or else I would have been doing it and I hate doing that shit. But it's funny how, you said the voice in the back, dude. We used to have this. No, say my mom! And then he used to be like, oh, that's Misa Steele out of the back, man.
In the shed.
The shed.
We haven't seen him in a few days. Has he eaten? We don't know.
Ice got hard during that time, But yeah, dude, getting back to the pod, bro. We interviewed a lot of people, man. But just like anything else that you do, bro, fucking shit happens. Either somebody fucking turns off the power during the middle of a pod. Over here, we one of our biggest fucking oops was when we recorded with KP. I was still editing through layer, and so I had different camera angles, and I lost one of the SD cards for one of the camera angles. So if you guys go back, all the angle that you see is her.
Yeah,
So
it's like people don't understand, like when you do something like a podcast, all the background work that has to be done and planned and orchestrated so that everything comes out. It looks good on the final product, right? But what does it actually take to get there?
Yeah, bro. Sometimes I can't wait to fucking finish this shit because I'm already pissed off about it. It
didn't go the way you wanted.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the times too, and I'm sure you know a lot more about this too than most people. Is it's not that we get picky, right? But we have standards, right? You're not gonna half-ass some shit just to fucking take it out or put it out there and stuff. And not just that, but eventually you get guests, big guests, like us, and you don't want to fucking put out some shitty stuff when you're talking about their life, and their career.
And you owe them that level of like production value where like if they're gonna come and spend their time here, like they want to know that like the final product's gonna be worth it, and that they're not just giving their name and likeness and image to like just anybody, right? Like if you ask me if I'm a person of stature and somebody that like is known around the community, if you want me to spend my time here, like we should get down to work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's exactly what happened with that John Teicher interview. You know what I mean? Like that guy, like, is a legend in my eyes. Voice of UTEP Sports. Like
that guy made me nervous, dude.
Like, that was like the biggest interview, like for me, honestly, because like I thought we did a very good job in the questions we asked him and the story he told, and then like having like that mishap with Joe shutting off the power, like that shit, like that put me on nerves because like I could tell, like, and remember he said it. He's like, he said it off mic, but he told us like, I hope you're not gonna ask me to re-record all that.
Yeah,
like,
dude. Yeah, dude. I remember, and let's kind of put into context, Chris. Let him know exactly what happened.
Okay, so we had John Teicher on, voice of the Miners, like legend in El Paso. If you know. If you know anything about UTEP athletics, that's like a staple in the game. Still doing it to this day, by the way. Probably one of the best commentators in college sports or in sports commentating in general. And so I reached out to him for an episode. I was going to UTEP, so I had the email account. And I looked him up in the UTEP directory, and I found him, and I shot him a shot, and he answered. And he came through the studio, and we were interviewing him, and we got probably 30 to 40 minutes in.
Yeah, good chunk.
Yeah, and he had told me from the get-go, like, look, dude, I only have like an hour. So, so what happened was we were doing the interview. It's going good. And then
we had Joe as a producer. We had Joe running the camera.
Joe was the producer, and we had the power strip under the table, and he kicked it. Everything went off, like the mics went off, the video went off, and we had to scramble to get it back on. And then that's when he made that comment. And then during that time, fucking Misa, because like I'm trying to reset everything, right?
So I'm over here trying to keep him,
So Misa's job, his one job at that point, is to just keep this guy like kind of happy and engaged right now while I try to recover everything.
Chris was sweating balls during this time. I remember
and
this.
Like Misa calls him John Taffert, the guy, the bar rescue guy, whatever that guy is.
He's like, shut it down.
And dude, and honestly, he even told you, he's like, I think you've had one too many, bro.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, when I said that,
he said that,
bro. Dude, everything was going good, and then fucking Joe stretches out. He turns off the fucking main power source. Everything goes down. Chris gets up, in a panic. He's working on the computer, sweating balls, and I'm over here like, oh, let me keep this guy entertained. Keep asking him questions. And then I just said like, yeah, John Taffer, and then he's all like, John Taffer, like what the hell? Like,
dude, you disrespect.
You've had one too many, didn't you?
I felt so bad for him, and then honestly, I'm like, Joe, what are you stretching for, bro? You're not doing nothing.
I know.
You're like literally. What did you do? You just ran a mile or what, dude? Did you just play fucking 90 minutes for Mexico? No. Dude. Like, why are you stretching right now? You know what I mean? Like, bro, just focus here.
Yeah,
you know
man. I mean? Dude, I mean that was one of the times, a memorable time. Do you have any other memorable times that pops up during our time there?
Yeah, dude, for sure. The Ivan Melendez. Have you ever been in love? And you guys give me shit for that because like it wasn't out of like left field like you guys make it seem.
It was also how you said it, bro.
Right, but that's what it was funny, and like we talked about it. It was like. It was cool because like when you interview someone like that, like Ivan Melendez, college baseball player, like national player of the year, has played some AAA ball, single, AA, like you know what I mean,
like all these records,
right, dude? Like a very like notable athlete for us and from El Paso too, and like CHS alum. Like what was cool about that was like we had an interview with him where like. He's going to talk about things that he would never talk about with anybody else, right? Yeah. Which is how we got into the scenario where you asked him about being in a fight for some reason. I guess we were talking about maybe like life in Austin, the 6th Street life.
I think this was the second time that he came back, right?
Yeah, so we had him on twice, but like, it was probably the second time. And then like, you were talking about the fight or like had he been in a fight and
how long has he been in a fight,
and then like I prefaced it like usually if guys are gonna fight, like if I'm gonna fight you or somebody, it's usually there's a girl involved somehow. Like somebody was doing something they shouldn't have been doing, you know what I mean? And which creates conflict to where you want to fight someone. So like we were talking about that, and then it just popped in my mind.
Dude, it was out of nowhere. And then it's because Chris, like, we're all talking, we're talking about
serious
fighting, and Chris asked about a girl, and he's like, nah, man, I've never done that. And then Chris out of nowhere, he's like, have you ever been in love? But just like with that type of voice,
sensual,
dude, like very sensual, like even the lights dimmed a little bit.
And then I just remember his face. He's like, what? Like, yeah, bro, I've been in love before. And I'm like, yeah, you're a handsome young guy. You know what I mean? You got a lot going on for you. Like, I'm sure you've been in love before, And it was just like, it's a good question to ask people, bro.
Yeah, man. It was funny, man. What's another one? And I've said this before on other episodes a couple of times. But the Estela Casas incident,
dude.
bro.
That was one of the worst.
Wasn't that one of the fun? I mean, start off with. I think she left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it was memorable for like all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
But and then the worst part is that you have so much hope for someone like that, like like somebody that's been around the El Paso community, is a staple on local television, has had so much going for her, and involved.
Even went through all this stuff with like the cancer,
right? And involved in so many different aspects of life that would make her known throughout the community, right?
Like you put her on a pier, you know?
Yeah, you put her on a pedestal, dude. Yeah. And you think like because of her status in the community,
her stature, you know,
you expect them obviously to like be like, hey, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to only talk about this. I'm going to only give you so much of my time. And like, just, I don't know, just like, it was like. I remember
she said that like she could give us like an hour, right? And then she showed up and then.
That's what got me.
Right when she showed up, she's like, I could give you guys like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, like she shows up late, which I hate. Yeah. Bro. Like I hate people who cannot respect, like if I say
it louder, say it louder.
I hate people that if I say we're going to meet here at 6, like if you're not there at 5:55, like I'm already thinking like, dude, you're not even taking this seriously.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
dude.
And so for her to be late, which is fine. Okay, whatever. I'll deal with it. And I had built like about a rundown that was fit for like an hour 15. And then she comes in first thing out of her mouth, not like, hey guys, how are you? Like, oh, hey, by the way, can we get this going? Like, I only have 30 minutes for you guys. And right there, she throws me off my whole game because now I have to figure out
what questions, how
are we going to do this interview in a condensed version? And then like,
I remember your face when she said that. You looked at me and I'm like, let's fucking go, dude.
And then, but it's just the tone that it's set. Like, it's like, this isn't going to be. And then not only that, like now we can't spend time joking
to know her
or getting off topic a little bit because now it all has to be direct, really to the point questions, and it just sets off the whole vibe, you know?
Yeah, bro.
And like our vibe was like totally like it was about that, like getting to the point and telling the story of the guests, but it was also like, can we have a cool conversation and joke and talk about
humorous,
a laid back, serious to the point kind of in a way, but like, yeah, can we talk about that funny moment you had when you were at the bar with this person, whatever.
Yeah.
And right with her, it was like, there's going to be absolutely none of that. You need to promote my brand and everything for me, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to hit a car on the way out. That's literally what she did.
No, she hit a drive-by.
I remember when she was leaving, we were like still like, what the fuck, bro? Like that's just happened. Like, you know, like she left pretty quick. You know, it ended, and then we're standing out there, you know, in your kitchen, your living room. We could see out your front.
Could see out
your front
driveway
into the driveway, and she had parked behind your wife's car. She had a nice Jeep Cherokee. Yeah, she pulls back, and then she pulls forward, and you should see your wife's car like move. Dude, did she just? Chris was like, bro, she just hit her car. And we're like, no fucking way, you know. And then she backs up, and then we're about to walk out, and then you just see her pull again and fucking just take off. Fucking hit and run, dude.
And remind you, she's involved with car dealerships. Literally, you know what I mean? So you would think she would have like, you know, like it's one thing like you realize how important cars are to people, like you just don't go around smacking them and hitting them.
I could understand that could happen to anybody, right? But the fact that she just took off.
No, but that just tells you like her mentality was like she just showed up to give us like she wanted to show face and like, but she didn't really care too much about being there. And I don't know her on that level, but I mean you can gauge like how many times did we have guests that would come and like chill with us and give us their time, and like we would actually like become almost friends with them, like even just after having them there only for like 2 hours, you know what I mean? Like we were used to guests acting or being a certain way, and then we got the opposite of that. And it's almost like that saying that they say is like, you don't ever meet your heroes. You know?
Yeah, and you know what? Crazy, and it is. And I remember we went out there, and I felt like I was more pissed off about it because I like you. I was already kind of mad that we had to fucking rush through that pod. But I was even more mad that she just took off after hitting your wife's car. And then we go out there, and then you're just like giggling. I'm like, bro. And then Chris goes, and then he points at his wife. He's like, bro, which fucking scratch did she even do, bro? I don't even know. Like, we did more damage in her car.
Yeah.
So he let it go and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like you got to choose your battles, you know. Like we're not going to get anywhere with that. You know what I mean? And honestly, she knows what she did. You know, like she has to deal with that and live with that. You know,
probably not the first time she does that.
No, and honestly, like. Yeah, probably not the best driver, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, sticks and use.
But that was like I said, a good memory, but for like the wrong reasons. But
yeah, dude, you know which memory, dude, that I always think about, you know, when we interviewed somebody and his wife called in the middle of the pod.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
She gave him a fucking earful, and then and the funniest part was that like.
Trying to play it cool.
Okay, but no, like he knew it was coming because I kind of remember like I felt like he had ignored the calls like a few times, and then he eventually picked up, and then he's like, "Hey, by the way, we're on the air right now.
We're recording live right now. We're on YouTube."
And it's kind of like, "Hey, like don't say anything crazy." Like
First
everyone's
thing that
hearing,
came out was,
and nah, bro,
she let him.
He told me he went like that, huh?
Bro, you know what's funny is that he had the phone on the mic.
Right.
Why would he do that?
No, well, and
You know,
like I'm saying, I think he was trying to tell her like, "Hey, chill." Like,
But
I'll
even
be
then,
right
he didn't
there.
take it
Like,
off, dude.
yeah.
And I remember, like, before he hung up, he was like, "All right, I'll be right there. I'm about to leave, right? I love you." And she's like, "Fuck you."
and then I still think we carried on for like another hour.
Yeah, we did.
And then still had like another couple beers.
For
Yeah.
us. He spoke German to us.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
Shout out Chuck Brother, dude.
Yeah. So,
Thank you, brother, man.
but
A lot of people on FitFam always comment his name.
yeah, well, dude, I mean,
Legendary,
he's
dog.
also like a legend around here.
Bro, we had a good conversation with him
Yeah.
about all this shit, dude. If you
He
guys
fucked
go
with
back,
us.
man,
He
we
liked
had-
us, dude.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of people that we
Yeah.
had a lot of
How
fun.
can
But
we find
also,
that?
like, I would like one thing I would say too is like that guy is like made for like talking. Like you say one word to him, and you're in a 10-minute conversation minimum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna get out of
Yeah,
that.
you
You know?
skip like 10 questions because he just keeps going.
Yeah, it was like, dude, I'll ask you about like what kind of laptop you have, and the next thing you know, we're talking about like the fucking like what's wrong with the world and why communism is bad. You know, like how did we get there, bro? I just liked your iMac. You know, like it was that easy. You know,
He's all telling you the
It's
specs
good,
and shit.
but I don't know, bro. You meet so many different people doing shit like this. You know.
Yeah, I think we met a lot of people, man. I think we met a lot of cool people. And then we even got to a point, bro, because we would record once a week, right? And then when we were kind of going in a row, we decided to take it off. Take yours off. And then we did.
I think it's your mic.
Go.
Go. A little mic swap.
No mic swap, dude.
A little mic swap midway.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, what's
That's
going
yours.
on?
Can I
here,
talk to you
man?
guys about American soccer really fast?
Yeah,
No,
can
I'm
you
just
chop
kidding.
it up, chop it up?
No, dude,
I'm
no,
just
that was a
kidding.
disappointment.
No.
So
Hey,
if we want your code, where do we look up?
what's up? What code?
Your referral code.
No. You gotta. That's exclusive right there, bro. I don't just do that for anyone. You know what I mean?
Like
I'm-
it is your mic.
Like if I'm gonna put money in people's pockets, it's only gonna be for people that I fuck with. You know?
Damn, like that.
Yeah. No, dude. No, not even.
That's fun.
No, because like to me, it's more about like the bond we create and watching the games together. It's like it makes everything better. You know?
You know what, man?
Get back to what you were saying.
Yeah. So going back, man, we met a lot of cool people, bro. And we got to a point, like I said, that we did once a week, and then we got to a point where, we were doing 2 a week.
Right.
And at this time, you had moved for the second time. By this point.
Well, yeah, but I mean, before that, like I feel like you're skipping like a good amount of like how we got to that point because
Well,
like
fucking tell me then, Chris.
well yeah so like one of the biggest things was that like when we started doing the pod, and I remember we like settled on like a posting day, like the same day we're gonna post the same day every week. So that means by Wednesday, Thursday, we need to have the video or the pod recorded so we can in post edit it, get a thumbnail, because we were doing that all ourselves. You know what I mean? So like we had to like we couldn't record a podcast Saturday. Well, we could and put it out Sunday, but like
It was enough time.
it was just like we were crunching time and we were gonna have to work 10 times harder that way, right? So the idea was like let's set a day, let's post every week, right? Because the biggest thing about like podcasting is like if we do a podcast every 2 to 3 weeks, dude, we're not really gonna get a lot of people to listen to us. The people that are gonna listen to us are probably just gonna be our friends, right? And our biggest thing was like, how do we get other people in El Paso that are seeking this content out already, that know some of these people that we're interviewing? How do we get them to find our podcast on their YouTube feed or their Spotify feed, right? And the way that you have to do that is you have to work the YouTube algorithm, right? Everybody has a YouTube app. Everybody has a YouTube feed. YouTube will show you suggested videos based on what you like. It uses the AI and it tells you like, hey, this is happening around you. You're probably interested in this. So the biggest thing was let's feed the algorithm. that's how we ended up getting so many subscribers, bro. We hit up almost like 500 subscribers, real subscribers. We weren't botting the channel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We weren't paying for subs.
Hey, but I remember I got like 150 that one time I went live and I fucking had everybody fucking.
Because we would tell people, push, bro, go to YouTube, subscribe, so you can see every week when we post, and it's gonna hit your feed, and you don't have to do any of the work. It's just gonna pop up. And so like we made that like a concentrated effort to push subscribers to YouTube because we were shooting video for a reason. We wanted people to watch it, right? And so like it's like where you're gonna watch it is you're gonna watch it on YouTube for free. It's already on your phone. It's the easiest way for you to consume us without you having to go through all these different channels or downloading another app like Anchor or Spotify. Like YouTube's already built into the Google system. It's built into your phone. And so like the easiest way is to push subscribers there. And then that's how we were able to reach people like Rob D. We didn't know who he was. We would post. He started watching us. He started Instagramming us, DMing us, and that's how we built that relationship. But we had so many other people that we reached by doing that. Yeah. And so that's what like where we pivoted from. One of the things that was part of the formula was that we're going to interview a guest for an episode, right? But sometimes we couldn't get a guest, right? So we would have to do a podcast by ourselves, but that would also show that we don't need a guest. We're not guest dependent, right? It's easy for us to have Steph Curry on and then we blow and get a bunch of views. And then the next 3 episodes, there's no Steph Curry. It's just us. Nobody watches us again, right? So how do we make our show still be genuine, authentic, talking about like trending topics, but also creating the cast, right? Chewy, getting him involved, getting Joe involved, different producers like Wesley or my sister, and then having the co-host, me and you were always the staple there, right? So like we didn't need the guests because we could still do an hour and an hour and a half show without them, but it would still be entertaining, right? The guests would just bring us flavor or a different perspective, or they have a niche that they're good at. So we're going to talk about that today. But, you know, the next episode is just going to be us doing a normal podcast, almost like a radio show. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's where the idea came, posting from once a week to posting twice a week, but having one dedicated guest episode if possible, and then one episode where it was just us. And I always felt like that was us flexing our ability to do a show. Like we could do a show. We don't need that guest, and we'll produce the show ourselves. We'll come up with the talking points. We'll come up with the storylines and involve everyone. And people still love those episodes just as much as they like the guest ones.
Yeah, man. And you brought something up that I want to make sure that I give props to are the people that helped us out. I mean, Joe was there a lot of the times, but also Wesley, man. I felt like Wesley really was the best producer. He was the best producer that we had. By far. Bringing shit up, dude, like while we were talking, dude. Like
just a great guy to hang out with.
Yeah, dude.
Just a great guy to hang out with. And then
he could keep up a conversation. Right. He was funny, man.
He was funny, bro. And then he would interject at the right time, make a stupid little joke or whatever.
And he knew how to fucking run the system, too, bro.
And then also Joe was good at that too, like at being able to contribute to the conversation, make a funny joke, or even be the butt of the joke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that was what was cool, is that we could always clown on Joe, but he never took it like the wrong way because he knew at the end of the day, like it was all just jokes, and it was all, I mean, we clowned on everybody, right? I got clowned on all the fucking time. Like I got clowned on every fucking episode, right? For anything, for a hat, or for if I said something stupid like the Ivan Melendez thing.
I'm gonna put up the hat picture that I made.
Yeah, but look at the hat now.
I know.
Anyway, okay, so really fast about. I don't think that one's plugged in, is it? I don't know.
No, it is. It's just, I shut him up for a little bit.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't think he's plugged in because I feel like I can't hear him in the.
Well, it's because I had lowered it down. Because there you go. Chewy, say something.
Yo.
There he is. Okay, Chewy's back. So that was cool. Is that like I had always wanted to involve more than just me and you on the podcast, and that's why we would go through like different producers, right? Different people stepping in. Even Chewy, who just started out as like Joe's homie that came to check out the podcast, and then he was like, "Damn, this is cool." Then we started.
He showed up with merch,
right?
The very first day.
That was like how we met him, right? And then
from my point of view, and I'll let you talk. So I know Joe, right? And I've lived with Joe through my boy.
Right.
I know how Joe lives, and I start seeing him with like local celebrities, and I'm like, "Motherfucker!" And I told him in person, "How the fuck are you doing this? And how are you hanging out with these people?" you know how Joe is. Come on, I said something.
Yeah.
But then I was like, how can we get involved? Because I had the jersey starting and I had the shirt maker. How can I make you guys a uniform? How can I get involved? You know.
Right.
And then he's like, no, let's pull up to the studio. And then he gave me the address and I pulled up and there was the crib.
Yeah.
And I had the shirts, bro, ready to rock and roll, bro. But I saw you guys because you guys were with Quentin Dems. You guys are rocking with
QD.
Bro, when Chewy came in, bro,
that was a big episode too.
That was.
Even though it was through Zoom, and I always hated the Zoom ones for
me too, bro.
But only not because of the guests, because of the chemistry, and then the latency of Zoom where they're going to say something, I'm going to say something back, and then I don't know if they're done saying something, so should I interject now or not? That was always a hard balance.
Austin Trout was a fucking good episode, too.
Oh, dude, we had so many good episodes, bro. Like, shout out all the comedians, Nico, Iggy, Julian, Josh Ryan.
Bro, we got to interview
Anthony Austin Brown.
You know how long it's been for me to fucking try
Buzz Adams, fucking John Teicher, Johnny Cage over and over again, Aku the Master. Bro, we had the fucking best lineup of guests that you could ever have from like a small local podcast that literally we wouldn't pay these people. We would give them a little bit of promo.
We were doing it out of a duplex, bro.
It was out of a house. It was all in-house production. Like for what it was, dude, it was like we were hitting above like our average, like because we would give you guys, I mean, not just guys or whoever, we would give whoever's listening, you would get some high quality episodes, like, and people fucked with it, dude.
Yeah.
Like people genuinely fucked with our podcast, bro.
And I gotta say this, bro. You know, at the beginning, you know, seeing how we were progressing, right? But you know, it's just being honest here. Every single pod we were drinking. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember it got to a point where like, yeah, dude, you know, by the end of the pod, I was fucking pretty wasted or pretty drunk or getting there already, right? But I remember that once we started really seeing, I started seeing the people that we were showing up. Like, I took initiative to fucking calm down on the fucking drinking, on, you know, how not to sound dumb while you're recording with somebody,
you and me had
you know?
Bet to see how sober we could go?
Yeah.
For a while?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, we did a lot, bro. We did a lot.
For a long time.
I remember Misa was sober for like a good 2-3 months. I would say.
Yeah, I had to give it up because it was causing trouble. And like I said, man, I mean, you know, the drinking and stuff, but and not only did it cause trouble with like the drinking and stuff, but like with family and time, you know, what sucked, and I'm sure, you know, I mean, we went through that too, Chewy, at the beginning, is that, you know, at the beginning, a lot of people don't take you serious, right? And then they only see what they see on socials or on YouTube, and they think that it's just a party, right? They don't. They see 20% of what it takes to release that and to get to that point. So I went through a time, you know, during that time where, you know, I would get in a lot of trouble, you know, with my family, or you know, people started thinking like, hey, you know, like, you're only doing that to drink, you know, and blah blah blah, and those conversations really pissed me off because, one, I know that they were right because I did fucking get drunk, but also two is like they weren't looking beyond that.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't looking at who we had, you know, the conversations that we were having, you know, and so that right there, it made me want to take it serious to really show people that care about me and didn't really support it because they thought I was doing it wrong.
Right.
It made me want to do it right, just so, you know, like I could prove to them like this isn't like, yeah, it's a hobby right now, but it's something that I love, and it's something that we're creating that could fucking go somewhere, you know, that could take us somewhere.
And you think you hard work? Not because you hang out with these other people.
No, I mean, like, dude, I mean, you get that from just different people, right? That just don't understand. But at the same time, we would have people that would support us, you know? And so, like, I would always hold the people that support us to a higher, like, their words meant more to me, right? Because people will doubt you just to doubt you, right? Because they don't want to see you do well, or they don't understand it, right? Some people don't like podcasts, right? So that's fine. You don't have to support my show. And I would have some of my closest friends that I'm still friends with today. They wouldn't watch the pod. They didn't care at all about the podcast, right? But what I had to realize was that, like, I'm like, my relationship with them isn't dependent on the podcast or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I could still hang out with them and not talk podcast, and then still have the people that I do chill with that would do the podcast with us, like Blue and people like that would still, my sister, that would still support us. And it was just like, look, every relationship is independent from the podcast, and it's not always going to be what like how I would want it to be, right? Of course, I would want everybody that's around me to support me 100%,
Right.
but that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you know
and I think
what I mean?
that was my issue, right? Is because, I was doing something that most people don't, I would have expected for these people to be proud or be supportive of
to
it,
give
right?
you your flowers.
Yeah, to give me my flowers for it. And when they didn't, like, I took it hard. But then, I got to a point where, like, I'm not doing it for them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it sucks that, they're not supportive like I wish they were. But, I had to realize that this shit's not for them.
Right.
I'm doing it because of me.
Right. And I'm not over here like trying to bitch about like people not supporting us. Like that's not what I'm trying to get at. And it's never about that, right?
Yeah,
because the people that are going to ride with you are going to ride with you no matter what. So it was more about giving them, the people that supported us, giving them episodes, right? Everybody else, you'll catch on maybe one day. If you don't, that's fine too. But at the same time, like what made me feel the best was when I would get people or in the YouTube comments or people that I don't know just like sending me a quick message like, yo, good episode, bro. You guys killed it. That was funny. Or this part was hilarious. Like that, like held more weight with me than any negative comment or other people not supporting me than it wasn't even close. You know what I mean? Like I was just so happy. Like, I mean, like you saw me. So like when I first started, I'd get 10 views, 12 views, right? Posting for every 2 weeks. So I got 12 views over 2 weeks. Like, dude, you know what I mean? Like that's not good. And then all of a sudden you see like we drop a good episode. We get 150 views. We'd get 200 views. We'd get 300 views. And then we get another 100 on Spotify. Or we had like a good guest. So Johnny Cage would get us like over 800 views, 1,000 views. You know what I mean? Our subscriber number starts going up. Now we're at 300 subscribers. And it's like, you start realizing like, it doesn't sound like a lot, right? Because you see famous creators, 100,000 views like in a day, right? But you can't compare yourself and you shouldn't ever compare yourself to anybody else. You know what I mean? You run your own race in life and that's bigger than podcasting. That's bigger than anything else. That's just human progression. Everybody's story is different, right? And so I still would just focus on the good stuff. Like, bro, we're fucking killing it, bro. We had Johnny Cage 3 times, you know what I mean? Like little things like that, those small wins, you know what I mean? That's what kept me going, you know?
And you know what? Like,
because we could have stopped a long time ago.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. But you know what? What kept it going too is just everything that you're saying, like I take it for granted because, we talked about this, when we first, got together after a couple of years is, I was already comfortable, right? Because earlier you were saying like, we had to do this by the time this day, we had to have all this. Let's be honest here. You were doing 90% of anything, all of the editing, you know? So, throughout the time and now looking back, like I could see how you were really into the technical part of it, right? Like creating, being focused on how to make the best pod instead of focusing on who's watching and like, getting that good,
because one of the things that me and you would always argue about was that you wanted to have the setup that we have now, different cameras, somebody operating a switcher to switch the views, right? But like to me, dude, like I didn't feel like we were at that level yet. And I felt like we could improve the podcast internally with just our process and our way that we have the episodes and how we conduct ourselves. Like to me, that was more important than 2 sick HD cameras. Like obviously that's cool, right? That's good, right? But to me, like the part that we could control more was the end product, right? What the show's about, the quality of the show, right? Because people, dude, some people are not even going to watch us on YouTube. They're just going to listen on Spotify. So we just want them to have a good, solid episode every single week. And like a lot of, like you said, dude, I was doing probably like 95% of the work, honestly.
And I remember you.
And it was evident. Like we would go, like we went to Ruidoso, right?
Yeah.
What did I take with us? The whole editing station.
He woke up super early. He was the first one to get up at 7 a.m. The day after we show up to Ruidoso, and
after partying all night,
and then fucking my boy Luis.
I wasn't even up yet, huh?
My boy Luis was over there making breakfast when I went to the kitchen, and then fucking everybody else was still sleeping. Chris is there at the table eating breakfast and editing.
Already starting to work because like it was like if we're gonna do this Ruidoso trip, if we're gonna ever do anything cool, like. That's fine, but the pod still needs to go on, right? Sunday, we had said we're going to post this Sunday, every Sunday. So like you kind of are committed to that, and you, if you care, right? If you like were serious about it, then the work still had to get done. We're good?
No, yeah, let's keep going. We're good, right? We're at 30 already? No, we're good. We're good. Let's keep going.
So like that was a big part of it, was that like, dude, like the reason people like gravitated to us was not just because of our personalities and the camaraderie that we would bring, right?
It's the consistency.
But it was also the consistency, dude, is that like they knew every Sunday, if they didn't watch that Sunday, Monday morning, right, on their way to work, they had a new episode to tune into, right? And that was like, that's conducive to how a podcast will grow. Yeah. When you don't have financial backing, or you're not already a celebrity in your own right, or you don't have a following because you were famous on TikTok or something before, right? Like you're literally just known for podcasting. That's it. And so the way that you're going to get people to listen to you is by consistently showing up on their feed at the same time every fucking week. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing, bro.
Yeah. And you know what? During that time,
you're putting me on game right now.
Yeah, and then eventually, what do you mean putting you on game, bro? I've been telling you the same shit this whole time.
But you know what's crazy, dude, is like, I don't even know how I realized all this. Like, I just kind of figured this shit out, you know?
No, it's because
there was nobody putting me on game.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
bro.
That was the crazy part, is that like I didn't have like a somebody in the podcast space that I was talking to and figuring this shit out. Like I was navigating it by myself and kind of figuring it out on the fly, right? It looked like we had it together, right? But obviously there was shit behind the scenes that people didn't know about, but like all that shit comes to fester eventually, right? But like at the same time, like it was literally just genuinely in-house production. We are figuring this shit out as we go, bro.
Dude, and the thing, the reason why it looked like, you know, we knew what we were doing is because of how dedicated and serious you were about the pod,
right?
You know, and the same conversation, this conversation that we're having through is like, you know, now I'm paying for it because now I'm going through that, and I've went through that with Chewy now, you know. Yep. And I kind of want to get into, because, you know, eventually, like I was saying, we got to 2 pods a week, right? So you're doing 95% of the editing and shit, and then we decide, you know, hey, we want to kind of go up another level. Let's go 2 episodes a week. Now that's when I started kind of noticing too how, you know, it was more stressful. I saw you a bit more stressed, you know, and during that time, you know, I was clueless about, you know, like, yeah, you would always give me shit about it. You need to get a laptop and help me with this, you know. You know, eventually I helped with just the audio, but that's fucking the easiest part.
Yeah, that's the easiest part.
The easiest part about everything was the audio editing. You know, and I had no clue about what it took for you to edit a whole pod. You know, I didn't have any clue about how you fucking upload it to YouTube and Spotify, and, you know, all that took.
Making sure all the feeds get fed, the like same thumbnail, the thumbnail with the right size, and
the
then
captions, you know, being right. We had a friend help us out with.
And then remember, sizes. Like the podcast episode wasn't just like it wasn't just like, oh, you turn it on and it's videos. Like we had an intro. Then we had the first segment. Then we had a break, and the break even had some like sponsorship elements.
Dude, we had commercials.
They had like promoting Aku the Master. We would use his song. We had like we had little like it looked like a commercial essentially. And so that all had to be put together every time, and then we had an outro with our graphic at the end, like, you know what I mean? Like
that was all coming from you, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I could tell that it was kind of weighing you down at one point, right. You know. Now the one thing that we didn't have, bro, and it's crazy because, you know, like you said, our pods, you know, got popular, you know, and everybody would always be thinking that we were like the best friends,
right?
You know what I mean? Like if we lived together, type shit. You know, like we were good friends, but not like how people expected, right? But also what I didn't, you know, really think about and realize was like how bad our communication was during that time. You know, and I think that kind of is what led to, and a lot more other things that led towards the end of CWCM. I'll tell you, bro, like I regret it a lot. You know, I wish we could have spoken more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I felt like I didn't put my whole part in like I should have. But what I want to do is we're already past the 30 minutes on this second half. This is gonna be the first time we're gonna do another break. We're gonna check on the cameras. When we come back, we're gonna continue this conversation and really get into how it ended, man.
Yeah. Because there's some things that I mean, we've already addressed them, right?
Yeah,
like,
but
we already talked about
we do need to.
But like like the people that that aren't with us at the fucking district going hard for the USA game. You know what I mean? The people that weren't there, you know what I mean? Like they deserve to kind of know like the reason that everything kind of fell apart and the reasoning why like I kind of stepped away, you know? So yeah.
Because when it ended and a lot of people would, because I made a video about, when it ended and pretty much saying goodbye and, I didn't really give a reason, all I said was, you wanted to go, your own thing and we're going to respect that. And, but that was the end. And man, you should have seen the reaction on that, man. You should have seen how many people, hey, what happened? What's going on? It was very sudden, man. And we never really gave them,
no, we didn't. We never gave them any closure, but
but we will do that right after this.
Let's do that after this. Yeah.
Make sure you guys are following, subscribing, and liking. Once again, shout out to our boy Eric. All this information is at the bottom below.
I just met him today, bro, but he's already my best friend, bro. For real.
What the fuck, dude? Hey. What do you have to say about that, Eric? You got a new best friend now.
I don't know. This is fun.
Yeah, you see, bringing back the vibes, bro.
Oh yeah. Anyways, guys, we'll be right back right after this. All right, we're back, guys. Look, episode 82, part number 3. Jay, what's going on, Jay? Explain.
My mic is down out here.
Nothing's going on right now.
World Cup heartburn, and I can't get over it, bro.
I mean, that's what happens when you go. And,
bro, look, if you're gonna go celebrate your team, which you should, whoever you root for, I don't care, whatever. As long as you're dedicated to one team. If you're gonna go, you gotta expect that the next day you're not gonna be 100%, and that's fine.
That's happening right now.
But this only happens every 4 years, the World Cup. So I mean, you have to sacrifice,
That is true, man. This is the only pain you're gonna feel in the next 4 years, dude. So good job, Chris. In that case, dude, another round for everybody.
It's the world's game, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a world's game.
We're just participating in it. I'm just glad to be here.
Man, I love FIFA, bro. I mean, you put me on 4 years ago, dude. He put me on 4 years ago.
Bro, I put in so many people on soccer. Like it's awesome because like that's all I want is for you guys to realize like how badass this shit.
Yeah, dude, we don't even play soccer, dude. That's what's funny about it, dude.
Like
that's great.
Like shit. I mean, how many times have we pulled it to the district?
8 years in a row now.
And then honestly, like I like to take new people and show them. Like I took my nephew yesterday. His first time seeing a watch party like that, bro, he fell in love. He plays soccer already, so he already likes the game. Like I just changed his life.
It was his first time.
His first time.
He'll be back or what?
Dude, yeah. He was like, "Oh, we're coming to the next one, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." And so like I already cemented him as a USA fan for the rest of his life just by taking him yesterday, bro.
Chris is converting people. Dude.
I'm not converting people. I'm just taking people that are on the fence.
No. They call him the Jesus of the
No. Like people have already a team that they go for, right? But for the people who are like on the fence, and I take them to something like that, I just solidified them being U.S. fans the rest of the way.
What got you into
what about
the whole soccer thing? Was it your parents? Because is your
no,
your
dude,
dad?
Hell no. My parents hate. They know nothing about soccer, bro. There was nobody in my life that got me into soccer. What it was playing FIFA on Xbox and just getting into it. And then I remember being like little during times like this where all that's on during the day is soccer. So you just start watching it and then it's cool because obviously like patriotism comes into play, right? Obviously you root for where you're from. But I just started following the US national team like that. And ever since then, dude, I just fell in love with it, dude. But I actually like, and I've never played a soccer match in my life. But I understand how the game's supposed to be played because of playing just so much FIFA. That's what it is. That's literally the reason.
Do you see? And they say that games are bad for you. No, they're not if you playing the right one.
I mean, it just depends. It's all in moderation.
Are you a fan of Mexico? The FIFA
so
Mexico
the way that I put it is that like I'm a USA fan first, right? Mexico is my direct rival. Okay, so that means that I cannot root for them unless in the tournament the USA has already been knocked out. Then Mexico is my second team, right? It makes sense. But if we're in the tournament at the same time, I want you guys to lose every single day because you guys are my rivals. And I've watched so many USA-Mexico matches that you guys have won. And my heart has literally fucking sunken in my chest.
Not just that, but
it hurts,
y'all come
bro.
over here and take my jobs, dude.
No,
I'm
it's
kidding,
not
I'm
I
kidding.
can just say right now, don't touch that.
But all I care about is that I like to see people involved with soccer. And dude, I'm the biggest USA fan that you fucking know. And where did I pull up to watch the game with you? At Pockets.
Oh yeah,
For the Mexico game. I showed up to Pockets for the Mexico game because I still like to watch, bro. I'm still a fan of soccer no matter what. You know what I mean? I'm still a fan of soccer no matter what. And I just love seeing the community and people supporting whatever team they want. It doesn't matter. You don't have to explain why you're a fan this way or that way. I don't care. It's just that we're all there supporting the World Cup in general. Having it here in North America is a big deal. And it's
especially
great to
on our 250th.
Bro, it's just great to see
baby.
everybody turn out. All these people travel here and fucking they love the USA and they love everything about it and all the fucking narratives about the USA being a bad place are all untrue, bro. We have it so good here, it's unreal,
bro. Have you seen all the videos of how people are putting out from other countries about like how great our culture is, man? It's crazy.
Bro.
Now, really quick, Chris. Not trying to end this FIFA conversation. What do you think is going to be the outcome of this year's FIFA?
Like, who's going to win it?
Yeah.
I would say, like, if I had to put money down right now, it'd probably be France.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, they're just
France
so dominant.
Again too. France again too.
Well, I mean,
what do you think is going to go up to the...
that's hard to predict the final because I'd have to look at both sides of the bracket, which I'm not looking at right now, so I can't tell you who would possibly even play. But I'm just saying, if there's one team that's been the most dominant, that's been the best, and that has a very good core group of players, is France, dude. And they won the last World Cup. You know what I mean? So, like, they just have they went to the final. Yeah,
so they went to the 2 finals in a row.
Yeah, but they're just a cohesive nation. They just have very good players, dude. That's
I don't know, man.
But I mean, like, there's still teams like Spain, England, even Argentina still. I'm not gonna say Mexico. Argentina,
Portugal,
the Netherlands. No, not Portugal. Portugal's too ass. No, but look, dude, if Mexico's in the final, I'm gonna be rooting for Mexico, straight up. Okay, unless they're playing the US. Don't get it twisted, bro.
Don't forget about that.
Don't ever forget. Let me kiss the fucking crest one more time. Let's go.
Take the bullshit out,
bro. But you guys see how much that shit means to me, bro. Like, I'm not over here just wearing this jersey for no reason. You guys have pulled up to games with me. And I get, shout out to fucking Next Gen Sports, by the way, for the jersey plug. Hit me up.
I was thinking it was just the only shirt that fits, dude.
No, well, I mean, yeah, that too. But honestly, dude, you guys have seen how much this shit means to me. Because, like, when I'm at watching the game for the U.S., like, I'm one of the guys leading the chanting every fucking minute, going hard as fuck, because, like, it really does mean a lot to just have U.S. soccer do well. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't really care too much about a lot of things. But
I don't know, man.
That's one of them.
I believe in The Simpsons, and they predicted Mexico versus Portugal, right?
Yeah, dude, Portugal looks like ass. So does Mexico, too.
You never know, man. Anyways, good FIFA talk, man. I love, man. It's every 4 years, so you're not going to hear this conversation again.
Come on, we're watching World Cup on the intermissions here.
Dude,
we're cashing out on Fanatics.
Fanatics and Prize Picks and Your Mama.
Yeah, dude. I loved when they gave Chewy a red card the other day.
Yeah, dude. Well, he deserved it.
He did, dude. He showed up to a USA game, a fucking fan-based fucking game. And
okay, but the good thing, too, is that, like, our fan base is so sick that we accepted him in.
Well, because we're in El Paso, dude.
No, dude. I guarantee you, if I had shown up to the Pockets game the other day or the Mexico game at Pockets wearing this, somebody would have tried to fight me.
No, for sure.
I guarantee you.
For sure, they would have
just out of fucking
your
pride,
life, your money, and your green card.
Anyways,
that's crazy.
But anyways,
guys. Anyways.
Let's go, USA.
Dude. No, say I'm
No. It's fine, bro.
It's all good. It's all good.
And I just want to say, if you guys are wondering where we got this gear, go to Instagram NXT2K19 and just shoot us a message.
Yes, sir.
Take care of your team.
Legit ass.
Yes, sir. We'll have all that information here at the bottom below. But really quick, man. Going back to the whole pod, man. A lot of people always wondered and asked what happened. I could only give them my part. But for those that are watching and listening right now, Chris, can you let people know, why did Chris walk away from CWCM?
I mean, so there's no like easy answer to this, right? Because if you think about everything that we talked about and all the work that we put in and all the fucking time spent and all the fucking like just everything, dude, just everything, all the stress, everything. Like, I mean, like we're doing this podcast. I still have a full-time job. I'm still going to school. I got my bachelor's degree. Like, like there's
you got a wife at home,
right? You got a wife at home. You have different relationships to manage with your parents and your friends, because every weekend or every Sunday was dedicated to the podcast, and I would miss out on so many things like in my personal life because I'm choosing to do this over being with the people that love me the most, right? So I think the easiest answer is that I think I succumbed to the pressure more than anything, because like we cared about it so much, and I did not ever want it to feel like a job, and eventually that's what it got to. But it was all because of the pressure that we had on ourselves, dude. And like, it's not pressure that people would think like it's not life threatening or anything like that. But like for me,
because you cared about it,
right? For me, it was like so much pressure to every single week have an episode out, to have a good episode, and to still be present everywhere else in my life. And it just got to like a point where I had to make a decision, and I chose to step away. And it was never my intention to just go like completely like cold turkey on it and just not ever address it. But I wasn't ready, you know what I mean? And I still like will address it to some point. Like we've talked about some of the things that I told you that I expected from you and that I didn't see that were happening. And that's always there. That's always on the back burner, right? But like, it's never going to get to the point where like, I'm not going to like, I still value our relationship as friends more than any of that, because we were friends before any of that. You know what I mean? And like, it would be so easy for me to be like, nah, fuck Misa, fuck these guys, fuck this, whatever. But like, if I'm not that type of person, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have like a bad bone in my body. I like to think like I have a lot of friends. I meet people very easily. Like, I'm a very like chill person. And I just always wanted to maintain that and never have that hostility between us, because at the end of the day, like I said, dude, we were friends before any of this, you know?
Yeah, dude. And I'm glad that we had that conversation, bro. I was salty for a good while, you know, just because like how you said, man, I was never told why.
Right. I was salty too, dude. I mean,
and that's what I was going to come up to, man. Being salty, but because I was just thinking about myself, right? I wasn't thinking about like why, you wanted to walk away and stuff, but now that we've talked, and now that I'm the host of my show, I could definitely agree why, and I know that a lot of that pressure came from me not putting in my part, and we both agreed that it was all miscommunication. I could have given more, man. I could have asked for more, like I'm sure that you expected a lot from me. But it's something that it's kind of like a bittersweet feeling now. Right. You know what I mean? I hate that it happened, but in some ways, like the Takeover show would have never happened without you, bro. I would have not known about how good it feels to create something, right. And
to foster something,
foster something, and not just that, but the hard work that fucking goes into this, man. That conversation that we had, and I'm glad that Tree was in there as well, because him being the co-host and me trying to make something great.
Bro, we hashed this out in the parking lot of the district after the US game during a smoke break or a hydration break. You know what I mean? But no, dude, I mean, like,
I just want you to know, man. I just want you to know that, I was salty at first, but now learning and going through, everything that you went through at this time, right. But I just want to say, bro, like, I do truly appreciate you, and truly always say that if it wasn't for you, I don't think I'd be in this podcast industry and shit.
Right.
I mean, you gave me that door to experience it.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like, that shit means a lot to me, dude. Because like I've always been that type of person that like I want to share my experiences with people. You know what I mean? Like I'm big on
gatekeepers, bro.
Yeah, dude. And like I don't ever want to be like or come off as like a person that is like cold-hearted or that's like mean about things, and like I avoid confrontation a lot of time because of that. Like I'll bite my tongue, like you know what I mean? Because sometimes like it's like I care too much about other things, you know what I mean? Like I care that at the end of the day that we can still be friends or whatever, you know what I mean? So a lot of it too, and we talked about this, was like I expected a lot from you, dude. I did, and I held you, especially you, because your name is on the show, to a higher standard than everyone else. And I told you at the same time, though, that I don't want to be your dad. I don't want to be your boss. I don't want to have to tell you what you need to do. You should know, you know what I mean? You saw exactly all the work that I was putting in, right? You saw everything that I was doing, how committed I was, and not only committed with my time and my work, but bro, we had a studio because I would pay extra money a month for me to have an extra room. I could have lived in a small apartment by myself, saved $300-400 a month, right? And we had that studio for years, dude. And so I just was hoping, without having to ever say anything, that commitment would be matched on the other side. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, dude. And I get it and I see it, bro. And I wish, and you said like without you saying anything, but I think that's where we came into conclusion was the miscommunication, right? You know, like I wish I could have felt like that. I wish that, you know, I could have seen more and taken that into consideration during that time, but I didn't. You know, I was too comfortable in where I was at, you know, and I didn't think about what was going on. And that's why I felt like I took it wrong, because I wasn't thinking of what you were going through.
Dude, and think about it. Like, it wasn't ever me and you, like, hating each other.
No, it was never like that. That's why for me it was such like a hit in the gut, bro, because it was just out of the blue and there was no explanation from it. You know what I mean? But I get it, bro. I get it. We're adults, you know, like, you know, we grew up and now that we met back again and we talked, I'm glad. I'm serious. I keep telling Chi, man, I'm glad that we talked about it, because it's a chapter in my life, bro, that is very important. It was crazy, you know, good experiences, but I hated how it ended, man. I hated how it ended. Yeah. But I truly understand, man. It goes for both of us, man.
And I take responsibility on that too, because like it was my show, like to begin with, like literally, like I literally came up with the title and then we just added Misa to it. And like literally, dude, like it was, the responsibility was on me to let everybody know, like, hey, it's gonna end. I don't have to tell you guys every single reason why, right? But like, I should have said something about it. I never even addressed it.
Yeah, it should have been. I had to do that for us.
Right. I never addressed it at all. And maybe it was because it was like, if I address it, like it's really the reality setting in. And in the back of my head, I was like, maybe I don't want to do that. You know, maybe I don't want to close that chapter. But at the same time, dude, like so much other shit happened where even right after that, and maybe like a year later, like I had to make some changes in my life because of my health and drinking so much and making the wrong decisions time after time after time. And like, maybe it was almost in a way for the better, where like I had to do it to end it without even knowing like the other changes that would come with it, like further down the line, like the long game, you know, like if we're lucky, we're not here for a year or two, we're here to live like a good long life. And sometimes you don't understand what's coming down the pipe. You know, you might not see it because you're focused on this or this or that or that. But for sure, like when it all ended, bro, like I hated that too. You know what I mean? Like I hated not seeing you guys all the time. And I hated not fucking having that creative outlet anymore. Like we went from talking on fucking YouTube every fucking day to radio silence for me. And I'm not that type of person that's on social media all the time. I have Instagram, I have Facebook, but you don't see me posting every single second of my life. In fact, you don't even see me really posting much unless I'm at the district going hard because the USA scored. You know what I mean?
That's the first time
literally, forever, that's literally like all I post is because like social media was never like, I'm not built to be that person, right? And I don't really care too much about social media. I actually think social media is kind of bad in a way, but it also has its uses. And when you're doing like a podcast, you have to be on social media. You don't have a choice, right? And I was more active on social media during the podcast than I ever was active on social media before in my life. But it's because it came with the territory. You know what I mean? Like people are going to wonder, who is this guy, right? What does this guy do like normally day to day, whatever. So that's why I had a social media presence then. But after the pod ended, I went dark for a year, maybe even
dude.
2.
And you know what? I gotta say something, dude. If you were to have like actually told me this at that time, I think because of the mindset that I was at, I think it wouldn't have ended well.
Right.
Like I hated that you didn't say anything, and then even more that you didn't say anything for a very long time. But I feel like if now thinking about it, after a while, if you would have said something. If you would have told me this during that time, I probably would have, been even more upset, because I wasn't understanding. I was, like I said, I was comfortable about it.
And dude, it would be naive of all of us to say that we kind of didn't see it coming in a way, because how many times had I harped on you guys, like, I need help. Like, dude, there was one day where we were moving into the new studio, and I think I told you about this, that you made a little comment. Because
I was building a table for
you guys were putting the studio together, you guys were cutting wood, doing all this crazy shit, and then from the outside, it looks like I'm just sitting there on the computer, right? But that's not what I was doing. I was editing that episode and putting it out to make sure that the pod, even though we moved studios, was still going to come out.
Not gonna notice
the audience would have never even known that we moved studios. And even when I had a episode with Rob D, he was like, bro, I thought you literally just moved from room to room. That's how seamlessly you guys made it seem. And then I was like, yeah, dude, like, it seemed like that, but that's not really what happened. We had to move a whole house and a whole studio to another location, but yet we still had to put the podcast out, because it was never supposed to be an excuse like, oh, we have to move, the podcast has to end for a little bit. Nah, it was like, we're going to move, the podcast is still going to come out, we're still going to handle everything, nobody has to know anything that we're going through. And then, there was one day that you just made this comment, and it sat wrong with me, bro. It just really did.
Yeah, I think during that time, too, you're already stressing,
bro.
Dude,
I was fucking stressing, bro.
Like, and there's no communication. Like, I mean, you say that, like, you kept insisting or whatnot, but, a lot of the times, too, is and I could attest to this, being a host, is you get... I would say, okay, well, let me do this, or let me do that. I would feel like you didn't want me to because I didn't know how, or something like that, And I could agree with that, because there's, when we first started and I brought this whole conversation up to Chewy about, like, dude, I'm tired of doing everything, I need your help, and then he would be like, all right, dude, I'll do the short clips, I'll do this. And then it popped in my head. I was like, well, this motherfucker don't even know. Is he gonna do it right?
Right, exactly.
Like, he hasn't done it before. He hasn't even seen me do it.
There's also, like, part of the element of where, like, I wanted to keep, like, the creative control in a way, like, where I didn't want to lose that, because like, I had that vision of, like, this podcast is supposed to be this way. This is supposed to be what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And, like,
we had kind of different
we had different views on what it was supposed to be. So, like, even if, like, you were gonna start editing everything, like, who knows, even once you said, okay, it's done, if I wasn't gonna come back and be like, nah, it's not done, like, we're still missing this, or we're still missing that.
This is how I do it.
You know what I mean?
And it's exactly how it is, man. But
that's also, like, on me, like, being a little too, like, being too critical on us. Like, I told you about that too. Like I wasn't ready to kind of relinquish those things.
Yeah, and it took me a while too, bro. And until a point to where, like, I told Trey, look, like, you want it this much as me, then, this could be yours as well. So I gave him that opportunity to create his own thing, create his own segments, give his own ideas.
Right.
But the only thing I do tell him, and we talk about it, is, like, plan it out, all right? Like, who's going to edit this? How is it going to be edited? How is it going to be?
Think it through. Yeah, like, that was another thing, too, that I would always come
up with ideas, and that's the thing. The miscommunication is I would come up with, like, bro, we could go vlog this, and we could start vlogging, and blah, blah, blah. And Chris would just be like, yeah, that sounds cool. But what I wasn't thinking, which he was, is, well, who's going to fucking edit
Right, who's going to post this? Because we went to the Barstool Open, remember? Yeah. That shit was cool. It was fun. I thought that was a good vlog. Like,
that was probably our best vlog.
And honestly, like, we didn't even plan that out. We just, like, went and we just started recording, and we did do some things like, oh, we're here at the Indigo Hotel, we're doing this, and then we're here at this bar or whatever. But, like, we didn't plan it out like if how serious, like, if we were taking it seriously, like how much we should have planned it out. And then even when I went to edit it, I had to just kind of throw it all together and kind of piece it up and kind of make it make sense in a way. And so that was always what I was thinking about, is like, yeah, we have all these ideas, right? We want to do this. We want to do a live show. We want to do vlogging, we want to do daily shit, but it's like at the end of the day,
Right.
Who's still going to do that? Yeah. Plus keep the podcast going, you know, like it's like, it's impossible for me to do everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was hard. It's now understandable in my point of view and in your point of view. And just to, let everybody that's watching and listening, man, I have no anger towards you, bro.
Right.
Like if anything, man, I cherish those times. I wish I could have done better. I wish I could have paid attention and not really focused on what I was focusing at the time. I just wanted to grow it, man. I was so excited about what we were doing, and I felt very good about what we were doing because we were getting good results. You know what I mean? Like you get in that train that is heading the right direction, and you just have these good feelings and stuff. But then you don't think about who's running the train. What does it take to run that train?
But at the same time, dude, you had an idea, because I remember when we did that interview with Rob D, you had this stupid quote where you're like, everyone wants to go 100 miles an hour and they want to get to the fucking finish line, right? But you don't want to make sure that you have air in your tires. I remember that line, bro.
Dude, and I brought that up like out of nowhere.
No, that was the best line you've ever had till this day. Like,
I was
still.
in the back, like, what the fuck?
Dude, I was like, when I said that, Chris was looked at me like, what the?
I was like, bro, shut up, bro. You've never said anything cool like that in your whole life. You know what I mean?
It's just natural.
That's true as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It was the truest thing that you could have ever said. But so that's why I'm saying, like you kind of knew at the same time, like you kind of knew like what it takes and like how we have to get there
to a certain extent.
Right. To an extent.
I'm not gonna say that like no, I did it. I did, and like I said, I got comfortable, right? Like I knew that regardless, that episode was gonna be posted.
Right, dude. What I mean? And you guys were also there, like, because remember Sundays would be the day that I would edit, but it would also during NFL football, it was like in the studio. In the studio, we're gonna have the fucking games on. We're gonna be playing fantasy. We're gonna be hanging out still, but still at the same time, I'm still working over here. You know what I mean?
We're not working. He's working.
Yeah, you guys would see that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so
So now, man.
Bro,
now that all
this,
now that all this has spilled out, what does the future look like for you, bro? Are you still interested on doing podcasting? Because to start off with, man, you're very good at keeping a conversation, man. You're an intellectual guy that knows what you're talking about, but also you have a great voice.
Yeah,
like you have a radio voice, right?
People have fucking told me that before too, for sure.
Archer.
So what's
Archer? Shut the fuck up. I've gotten that.
I had to throw that
Bob's Burgers and shit. Never even seen that show. Still.
But so what's the future looking like for Chris, man?
I don't know, man. That's a hard question to answer because I still
when it comes to podcasts. What about
no, I mean, like obviously, like I don't know how many people actually know I did. Even after we split, I did a podcast with my cousin. It was called the Sideline Podcast. It was all about sports, nothing but sports. I mean,
all kinds of sports?
No, I mean we would focus on the big three: baseball, football, baseball, and then I try to interject soccer more. But this fool didn't know nothing about soccer. So, but I mean, like the only reason I did that was because
that age.
No, not even that. No, because even we stopped doing it after a while, but. The reason I did that was because my little cousin Adam, he's family, he's like my nephew essentially. He showed interest in doing a podcast, and I kind of wanted to be for him. What I didn't have was somebody that could show him the ropes, you know. And like ultimately, it was his podcast. He was the host. It was his vision and everything, and I was just there to facilitate it.
Just a coach.
Right, to come and show them like, hey, this is how we set up the recording, this is how you should post, this is how your thumbnails should be, this is what we want a podcast to sound like, and you can't just go on a rant about the Patriots because that's your favorite team. No, we need to be more general about it, and you need to be more knowledgeable about all sports, not just football, because that's just what you like. And it was just kind of showing him the ropes, you know, and seeing where he could take it, you know. And so I was going to be the one that like was going to help show him, and then it was ultimately up to him how he wanted to progress. And you know, we bought all the equipment again. We used the same studio that we were using. We repurposed it. And then the reason that I kind of knew that I wasn't going to do podcasting anymore was because I tried to bring Conversing with Chris back. Bring Conversing with Chris back. We did probably like 2 episodes. And it just didn't feel the same, and I just wasn't as dedicated as I was, and I knew it. You know what I mean? And that's why I just kind of stopped.
Feel the same? Was it like just like the
it's
conversations?
Just different, dude. It's just different. Like it's almost like you go eat at a 5-star restaurant every single day, right? And then all of a sudden now you have to only eat at a 2-star.
No, you know how I felt when I fucking had 2 stars.
Yeah. It's a different feel, and then you almost like you take a step back and you're just like, this isn't what I want anymore in a way, and you just don't feel the drive anymore. You know what I mean? And
so you don't see yourself doing podcasts ever again?
I mean, I don't know, man. It'd have to be like
a good time.
It'd have to be a good time. It'd have to be like totally like it has to be now, and I hate to say it, but it has to be worth it more than it was back then. Not that it wasn't worth anything.
No, yeah. I mean, life changes.
Right.
You know, changes.
But I also just like, I think what it was that at some point it stopped being as fun as it was. You know, it started becoming more like work. And I already have a job. Like, I don't need more work. Like, that shit sucks. You know what I mean?
What, dude,
like,
and that's what I've been scared of, man. You keep saying it, and you said you had nobody to show you. I had you from what I saw, I didn't pay attention too much. So now, you know, where we're at, like, I it's hard for me to look up and be like, hey, man, what would you do? Or, like, how did you do this, right? Because there's nobody else that I could go and call and tell them, right? Like, it's something that I had to learn, from the editing, like you did, man. Like, it's a GTS, Google that shit, you know, or YouTube University, you know, like. But
even then, dude, like, even that can only get you so far. Like, you still have to have some sort of technical knowledge. You still have to be some sort of computer savvy. Yeah. You still need to have these little skill sets that YouTube University is not going to teach you, right? Because how many times have you looked on YouTube and you're like, oh, I need to change the fuel pump in my car, right? And then they do a video and they do it in 10 minutes. So you're like, oh, I could do this.
And then like, you go and you're there.
You go to AutoZone, you buy the fucking fuel pump, you rent their little kit to fucking do the job. And then it's been 3 hours and now your fuel pump's disattached. You don't know what to do with your car now. Like, you're in a bad situation. If you would have just called somebody to do it, you would have been better off. But you tried to do it yourself because YouTube made it look easy. And so a lot of times that's what would happen with us, dude. Remember we bought those cameras and we thought we knew how to set them up. We even had Wesley trying to get us to fucking
dude. Those cameras work, dude. I now that I'm doing like multiple camera views and like spending hours and hours and fucking too late, you know, or early mornings, like. Only if I could have just done like more research and like fucking gone it, we could have worked with those things. But I was doing like trying to make it quick, right? Like very easy, right?
It's almost like you see like an issue and you just want to put a quick Band-Aid on it, right? And it's like that's okay, but we want to have a permanent solution. We don't want just a temporary solution, you know? Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are going to have to deal with all the bullshit that comes with that. Yeah. And when it doesn't work or we have a big episode and then the camera fails.
Can't call anybody to fucking fix it for me,
dude.
Right?
Like, so a lot of it was like, I always appreciated you for like pushing us because like you always, like you bought in and you always knew like we can do a lot with this, right? But I always was the one that would pull us back and say, are we ready to do this? Yeah. Can we handle the production in-house? Because what were we going to do? We weren't going to go hire someone. We didn't have any money. We made some money off of merch, right? We didn't make anywhere.
Yeah, it was nothing, dude.
Yeah, we didn't make anywhere enough to fucking outsource something. So it was like, dude, if we're going to do this, we need to think of it in the bigger picture of like, if we are going to do vlogging or shit like that, can we handle everything with us without having to outsource it and make it still that high quality? Because that was always my thing, dude, is like this needs to be a certain way.
Yeah. And for me, you know what I learned, man, out of all this, man, is that one, bro, you're not gonna get to where you're at by yourself.
No, no.
I don't care how talented you think you are or whatever. You cannot do shit like this by yourself, right? But also, that being said, like is we're in that position. I mean, we're in that position where like we couldn't hire somebody to fucking edit our shit. You know, so what we had to do is fucking learn, right? Like I always tell Chewy, you know, Chewy at the beginning was very quick to be like, well, dude, let's just hire this guy to do it. You know, and I tell him, dude, why can't we use that money? Let's use that money for something better. Why not get that knowledge? You know, knowledge is very important.
It's very important. Bro.
Why not learn how to fucking do it first? And then eventually, once you get to that point, then you fucking hire somebody.
And then also, like, if you go in there blind and you're trying to hire somebody, right? They think you don't know shit about editing or you don't know how to do any production.
So they do it their way.
They're going to price you out too. They're going to be like, oh, bro, these guys have money, bro. These guys, I'll charge them all this money. I'll make a bag off these guys. But if we come to the table and we're like, look, dude, we know what it takes because I did all the editing. We did all the editing. So whatever price you give us, if it's not fair, we're going to let you know. And we're not going to go with you.
I could do that shit for free.
I could do that shit myself.
It's going to take me 5 hours, but I can do
it's going to take my whole fucking Sunday, but I'll fucking do it because you want to try to outprice me because you think that I have more than I have, and you are just trying to come up on me, which is fine. Everybody looks out for themselves. I get that, right? But the bigger part, like you said, is that nobody makes it to a point of being very successful, very famous without help from other people, bro. It takes a fucking team. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a team to make a dream work, bro. Come on.
Shit. That's the best shit you've ever said, dog.
That was good, bro. That was good, huh? That was good. That was off the top, too. Like I just...
Where'd you get in there?
I just strung that together. You see how I did that, though?
Yeah, bro. I love that, man.
But no. But it is true. Like, it is true. Like, I talk out of my ass a lot. Like, for sure. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't think you talk out of your ass. It's just you talk. You're an emotional talker. You talk
like,
about what is right for you.
Right. When I'm into something, bro. When I have a vested interest in whatever it is, like I go fucking all in and like I become knowledgeable about it, and I like to be able, like, if I'm gonna have a conversation with you about this or that, I want to be able to bring some shit to the table and sound like I'm educated. Which is when we did the interviews with anybody, whoever it was, you knew that I did the research. That way, when we had that conversation, I wasn't just sitting there asking stupid shit or acting like I don't know what the fuck we're talking about, or I have no idea what they're talking about.
They know when you don't fucking know
right.
what the fuck.
And then, dude, we hit them with like some good questions, like research questions. They're like, damn, like how the fuck did you even know about that? Dude. Like, how did you even know to ask me about this situation? And, well, it's because, you know, like I took this interview seriously, and I Google searched you, or I looked at your IG and I saw what you were about. I stalked you for a little bit.
I would always search your IWBM.
Yeah, dude, that was always the best way to do it, bro. You got to know, you got to know who you're talking to, you know, and how to get the best out of them, you know.
You know what, dude? Like I said earlier, bro. I see you as like kind of like that Master Han, dude. You know what I mean? Like that you know, like Stephanie Han's dad.
True. Okay, I know Stephanie Han is.
You know that somebody that like kind of like, you know, kind of guided you for a good round, you know, and and even now where we're at, you know, like you know, even though you know, we did more episodes, you know, in our pod, I feel that we're a little bit more advanced just because of the experience that I went through with you, man. And I appreciate you very much for that. I'm so happy that we were able to communicate and fucking link up again. And now we're coming down towards the end of this show, bro.
Okay, really fast. Let me say one more thing, and it's just about like more or less like for you guys, like it's cool that you guys never stopped. Like it's I almost have some pride in that in a way, like. It would have been easy for all of us to just walk away and leave it like that. Because when me and Sam stopped rapping, that's what we both did. We walked away, and that we never said anything about it again. Me and him are still boys as fuck. Like, that's still like my best friend. But we never, like, he never tried to do it without me. And it's not that I didn't want him to, but it's just like he kind of realized, like, you know what, like, maybe this isn't gonna work, right? But like for you guys to continue and progress on your own, even though you guys don't really, like at the time you were like, you guys probably bit off more than you could chew, and then you had to actually figure out how to chew it with Chewy, you know what I'm saying? It's cool to see you guys still at it, and like I would never wish anything bad about you guys. I would never fucking like say like, oh, I don't want them to succeed. And you can ask anybody who ever asked me like, hey, you still fuck with this show? And I'm like, honestly, like I'll tell you, I probably never watched any episodes, but I was never like, nah, fuck those guys. Like, I don't want them to succeed. You know what I mean? Because at some point, there's a little bit of me with you guys still in the way you do your pod.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
And I was gonna tell people, man, for those that didn't know this whole story, take your time to go into YouTube, go to Conversing with Chris, the podcast.
The channel's still there, bro.
The channel's still there. All the
Still
episodes,
up. All those episodes are still there.
episodes are still there.
Yep.
And you're gonna see how the resemblance, man. You're gonna see a little resemblance, and like I said, it's because that's where I grew up, man. That's where
Yeah,
Misa
dude,
started
it
his
would be
pod.
so easy for me to be like, oh, they're bodying my style, they're doing this and that. Like, no,
I don't
dude,
know
you know what
about
I
that,
mean?
but, yeah.
No, but I mean, like,
You could be like that.
No, I could be like that.
Yeah,
you know
of
what I mean?
course.
I could just blanketly say, no, they're biting my style. They took whatever I had and they just repurposed it. Like, I could easily say that, right? But even if I said that, do I really mean that?
Yeah.
And it's not true because when did I ever hit you guys up and say like, hey, bro, like,
Never? You never hit us up?
Well, no, I know, but like I could have hit you guys up and been like, hey, dude, I don't appreciate how you guys are doing this or this and that, or maybe you guys should shout me out or this or that, or give me some credit. Like, bro, I never, ever, ever interjected with you guys because it was just like, look, dude, if you guys want to do it, do it. Do your fucking thing.
Yep.
I'm not gonna fucking get in the way of that. You know what I mean?
No, man, and you know the main one of the main things that I really got out of us is like the drive, right? Like you said, we kept it going. I kept it going because I really believed on that creation that we were doing. Right. Even though like now that I know, you know, you were doing a lot of the work, like I still felt that I was a part of something that nobody else could have created at that time, you know, and so that's why I was all like, you know, I love that feeling, man. Like, you know,
and maybe, dude, maybe you believed in it even more than I did, if we're being honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe I did, man. You know, maybe I did, but maybe, you know, I should have fucking put in, you know, the thought, and we should have been in the same, you know, page on that. But real quick, man, my fucking cameras are about to die. All right, Chris, what we're gonna do here, man? If you could look into
this is always my worst fear, bro.
Camera number 2, really quick. If you could just give some words of advice for everybody that's watching, any type of advice, bro, that people could take in and consider.
Just do what you want, man. Don't ever feel like you have to explain yourself to people. Don't worry about what other people think about you. That's one of the things that people will always say, but it's very true. And whatever you want to do in life, if you set your mind to it, dude, you can do it, bro. How many people have we seen from El Paso? KP is in the room next door to us, getting ready for a performance that she has tomorrow at Pop at the Fort, which is a big deal. And it's all because she believed in herself and she never gave up. We also have 2 guys from El Paso playing for the World Cup with the U.S. men's national team right now. All they did was they believed in themselves. They were dedicated, and they never let anybody tell them no, bro. That's the biggest thing in life. Whatever you want, you can go get it if you're willing to work for it.
You heard it. You heard it here at the Takeover Show, man.
Just the fucking badge one more time, baby.
Chris, man, episode number 82 coming to an end.
Shout out.
Thank you so much, bro. I've been waiting for this.
I thought we were going to do some 5 random questions or some shit.
I don't know. Eric, how are the cameras going? Okay.
All right, we're good.
Camera number 2 is dying. Can we do camera number 1? We'll do camera number 1 really quick. We're
just
going to do camera number 1.
you know?
We're going to do 5 random questions, all right? 5 random questions.
And these are completely random because I know you guys don't have any questions.
No, we had other segments.
Oh, you did? No, I know. I saw Chewy's segment on the rundown. Didn't get to that.
Yeah, but we didn't. But he wants 5 random.
Right quick. Honestly, bro, from my point of view, from friendships, one thing I fucked around with my high school friends, though I don't really talk with them like that.
Right.
But you and me, bro, like you and my other army homie, I haven't talked to you in years, and we literally picked up. Like,
Yeah, bro.
Last weekend.
Like,
So,
yeah. Like, I literally ran into you after not seeing you forever. And I was like, yo!
He's like, and then I had my jerseys all ready to go.
Yeah.
So right away was like, what you got, boom?
What you got? Let me get one of those.
Yeah, I called Misa that night. Well, he was in Dallas for the World Cup. So
Yeah, but also, dude, I asked you too. Like, where the fuck's Misa at? Like,
I didn't believe him, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't believe him.
I called him and he didn't answer, so I was like, hey, dude, Chris told me to tell you what's up.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, send me a
This
thumbs
guy's
up.
drunk.
But in the morning when he woke up, he's like, nah, bro, for real, how'd it go? Like, he couldn't believe that we hung out.
Yeah, yeah.
It was on our story.
Bro, but like, okay, but what did you think? That I was gonna see you and just ignore you? Like,
No, not ignore you, but I mean, knowing you for so long, Chris, I know, like you said, you're not somebody that like comes up and like fucking talks about shit.
right, dude. But I'm also
you're not a
not like
confrontational guy.
right. But
know,
also, if you've been my friend, we're always friends. Like, no matter what,
Yeah,
bro.
well, now
like,
I know. Now I know, bro.
Bro, I've been through some shit with some of my friends. Bro, if me and Sam can still be fucking friends till this day, like, it doesn't matter what the fuck we go through, bro. Honestly, it doesn't. Like there's a few boundaries that okay, there's some shit you shouldn't ever do, right?
Don't ever suck my dick, Chewy.
Well, I mean, you know, but no. There's a few things that like you can't do to me that if you cross that line, okay, that's it, right? Yeah. But we never were even close to that line at all. So at that point, bro, it's like, dude, if I see you, like, if we're at the same bar, like, you don't think I'm gonna fucking sit next to you and have a drink with you? Like, what the fuck, bro?
I know, Chewy. What the fuck are you thinking? Look, man, I'm looking at the cameras. We don't have time for these 5 random questions. What we will do, though, we will have eventually a little segment of these 5 random questions and Saca el Chisme. We're gonna invite our boy Chris over for Saca el Chisme segment here at Takeover Show. But other than that, man, final words. We do the same, man. We go around the table. We're gonna give some final words, starting with Chewy. Chewy, final words for you, guy. Make it quick.
Part of my final words is, dog, I'm glad we repatched it, bro. We're here. Hopefully we get to work more together.
And I'm gonna make you some money, Papa. You already know.
We've been. Hey,
you've seen the track
picks.
record.
This will follow for the picks. Our next year we'll make it happen. Hopefully we get to
Put
work
me on,
together
coach.
more. Our door is always open.
Everybody thinks I'm bullshitting on that, but
No, we'll talk about it in
real.
our Saca el Chisme. But final words for you, Chris.
Thank you guys, bro. This place is sick. Shout out to fucking Eric, the MVP of today, honestly.
Yes,
like, for real.
Yes.
Like, this guy doesn't get enough fucking credit. You guys don't even give him enough credit, but I had
He's
to make
an
sure.
intern, dude.
I don't care, bro. Intern or not, bro. He needs to know. He needs to know what he
knows
does.
I'm kidding, bro.
Matters, bro. That shit matters a lot. But no, in all seriousness, like, thank you guys for fucking inviting me back on, or not back on, but for the first time, and keep doing your thing, bro. That's it. It's all love.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks. Final words for me, man. Just like Tree said, that's how we used to say, man. Now that you've been here, we do have an open door policy, bro. You come back anytime you want. You want to come and watch some. You want to watch a game together. You want to do something, man. You want to help starting another podcast. You let me know, bro. I'll get you another co-host. I can't fucking do it with you.
Bro. Honestly, what I'm gonna do is come record a fucking country album. Honestly, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Chris was the one that put me on the with the screwdrivers, right? The fucking with Chris Stapleton, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Chris Stapleton. He's like, you need to hear this song, dude. And we were in Ruidoso, and he fucking put on Chris Stapleton.
Bro, I love country music, bro.
But thank you, Chris, bro. Thank you so much, man. Eric. Thank you, bro.
MVP.
All right. Thank you, bro. I'll pay you on Sunday, dude. I'll come back and open the
get some final thoughts from him, actually.
Actually, final thoughts for you, dude.
Yeah, bro. You guys are always leaving your producer out.
It's okay.
This hurts my heart, bro.
It's been pretty smooth. It was pretty good.
All right.
Fun podcast.
Hell yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
That's why I don't put him on mic, bro.
Oh, that's good. Hey, man. He's got a lot of shit to do back there, bro.
For those that are watching and listening, man, please don't forget to follow and like. And
last thing, go USA. Let's go.
Y'all make sure to stay safe and stay fresh. We're out.
He said, play.